Today we're here with Judge Alex BONAVITACOLA. He's the judge of the Court of Common Pleas of the First Judicial District of Pennsylvania. Good morning, Judge.
Good morning to you, Len.
I'm happy that you're here. And as I said before, if anybody should know about the court system in Philadelphia, it's certainly you.
Yeah, we know a little bit.
Now, how long did you spend as a judge in this system?
Almost 33 years.
Mm-hmm. And I know for part of that time you were the president judge and the chair of the Administrative Governing Board.
And also administrative judge of the trial division.
Yes, which is the largest division of the court.
Uh-huh.
Can you tell us something about your early life, where you came from and that sort of thing?
Born in Philadelphia, lived in South Philadelphia all of my adult life.
Okay.
Went to Stephen Girard Elementary School.
And where was that?
18th and Snyder.
Oh, all right, South Philadelphia.
Went to Vare Junior High School, which was at 23rd and 24th and Snyder.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went uptown to Central High School.
Oh, well, what do you know? We've had one or two graduates of Central here during these interviews we've been conducting. It's a fairly exclusive school.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I know you had to pass a test to get in. After Central, what did you do? You went to Temple for college?
Temple University, Business Administration.
Uh-huh. And then followed with Temple Law, is that right?
Right, in 1953,
Uh-huh.
I entered Temple Law.
And you also got a JD from...
I got a JD and an LLM
Okay.
from the law school.
So you've certainly had sufficient legal training before you even became a master of the courtroom, say. Now, after law school, you practiced for about, what, 20 years or so?
I would say from 57 to 63 or 4.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. And after that, you somehow became a judge. How did that work?
Well, what happened first was that then Mayor Richardson Dilworth
Mm-hmm.
appointed me to the city solicitor's office.
Oh, okay.
And I stayed there until 73.
All right.
No, I'm sorry, excuse me. I stayed there for 2 years, and then he appointed me as chairman of the Philadelphia Zoning Board of Adjustment.
Oh.
And I stayed there for a little better than 10 years.
All right. So that makes up the other 20 years
Yep.
between law school and your judgeship.
And then I ran for judge in a contested election
Mm-hmm.
in 73
All
and
right.
won.
Oh, good. And then subsequently retained.
Retained in 83 and 93.
So that's a total of 30
years right there.
Yeah. When you were going to law school, were there any personalities or what might be called giants of the law whom you admired, or?
Well, the day-to-day professors were competent and good
Mm-hmm.
and very well respected.
Mm-hmm.
But we did have some adjunct instructors or professors
Yeah.
that were really known for their ability in the law trying cases.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And they were really inspirational.
People with practical experience.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you remember anyone in particular, or?
Yeah, we had a rough and tumble personal injury litigator whose last name was Williams.
Uh-huh.
And he was dynamite. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was good.
Yeah. How did it come about? Well, you ran for election and you won right off the bat, which is saying something right there, I think. But how did your judicial career develop? You started as a judge in what court?
I started as a judge in the trial division.
Okay.
Then they needed some help in the family court, and I volunteered to be reassigned to the family court.
Mm-hmm. Was that in the 70s or so?
Yeah, late 70s, early 80s.
Because I was working there, and I remember you sitting in courtroom B.
Right.
Yeah.
I sat both in juvenile and in domestic relations, both.
Oh, okay.
Then they needed help back in the trial division, and I came back to the trial division because we had quite a mess on our hands in the trial division.
Okay, and what do you mean by that?
Too many cases that were clogging up the entire calendar,
Mm-hmm.
and it was almost by chance when you got assigned to a courtroom to get your case tried.
Oh, all right.
It was that haphazard.
Yeah, no way to run a court, I guess.
No.
And so what steps were taken to alleviate some of those problems?
Well, the Supreme Court appointed me as administrative judge of the trial division.
Okay. And as I said before, it's the largest division.
Yeah, we had
For the common
almost
cases.
60 judges
Okay.
in the trial division alone. And I recognized that I would have difficulty addressing the civil matters and the criminal matters.
Mhm.
And I called upon an associate, who's now a federal judge, LaGrome Davis,
All right.
to take a hands-on approach to the criminal end of it.
Okay.
And I personally took a hand directly on the civil side of it.
Yeah.
And we developed, with the assistance of court administrators like Dave Lawrence
Mm-hmm.
and Frank Chekovich,
Oh, yeah.
a case reduction program.
Uh-huh.
And that was infamously called Day Forward, Day Backward.
Right. I remember that.
And what we did is we found out early on that we had no idea as to what kind of cases were in this massive backlog.
Uh-huh.
I think the backlog was like 24,000 cases.
Yeah.
We didn't know what we had.
But you had a lot of it.
Oh, yeah. So what our court administrators did very, very well is they developed a questionnaire
Uh-huh.
that we sent to all of the litigants, plaintiffs' lawyers, defense lawyers. What kind of case is this? Is it personal injury, products liability,
Oh.
malpractice,
Oh.
slip and fall? You know, what kind of case is it?
Yeah.
Number two is the other side, the defendant, insured? And if so, what insurance company?
Uh-huh.
Because we wanted to see if any of them were dragging their heels
Oh, I see.
and obstructing the flow of cases.
No, I heard of day forward and day backward, but I didn't even know about this. You have to get a handle on
Oh,
what
yeah.
you're dealing with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And the third aspect of that questionnaire was you have to answer these questions and come back to us within, I think it was 45 days. Otherwise, we're going to dismiss your case out of hand.
Okay.
Well, we found out that a lot of those 24,000 cases had already been settled.
Oh.
And lawyers or litigants were too lazy to come to the prothonotari's office and say, mark that case settled and discontinued.
Yeah.
Because they have to pay a $5 fee. They just let it slide. So, you know, that was a quick diet.
Yes.
We lost a lot of weight.
Oh, I see.
And
Good.
and that way we were able to categorize what we had.
Uh-huh.
And we picked an artificial date and said, from this day backwards, our cases that have already been filed and are in progress, we're going to call that day backward.
Okay.
And we assigned a couple of teams of judges.
Of judges. All right.
And they were to get on those cases and start moving them to completion.
Mm-hmm.
And from that day forward
Yeah.
were new cases that were coming into the system.
Okay, right.
And that would be assigned to a team leader judge who would then look at it, see what needed to be done, whether depositions, whether interrogatories,
Oh,
or,
okay.
you know, whatever
Yeah.
needed to be done. And he would prod them so that those cases would get almost in a trial-ready condition.
Oh, I see. All right.
So we attacked the backlog, or the case inventory,
Right.
from both ends.
Yes.
and proved to be very successful.
How about that? Because I know that backlog
Yeah.
went poof, it
Oh,
went
yeah.
away. Yeah. And 24,000 cases is nothing to sneeze
No.
at.
And also, Len, we had a lot of help from the Supreme Court
Mm-hmm.
because one of the things that we discovered was that there were a lot of cases filed in Philadelphia that didn't belong here.
Oh,
In other words, products liability, medical malpractice, some accident cases
uh-huh.
filed that occurred in other counties in Pennsylvania
Right.
were being filed here,
It should have been filed there.
for the convenience of the lawyers.
Oh, I see.
And we got the Supreme Court to say, hey, medical malpractice has to be filed in the county in which the malpractice allegedly took place.
Okay.
And that, of course, was like another diet. We lost a lot of weight.
Okay.
We lost about 35 to 40% of our cases.
Oh,
Yeah, you got rid of it.
yeah.
And our judges were able to stay on top of what was left at both ends
Uh-huh.
until we closed out day backward. Now I forget the year,
Yes.
but they were done.
Okay.
And then all of the judges concentrated on day forward.
Uh-huh. And
And that's why we had a very good record about disposition
right.
of issues.
I'll bet. And then for all the new cases coming in, you handled those similarly to
Right, they were right up front, farmed out to a judge, team leader, who guided them, led them.
Uh-huh. I know lawyers were given dates certain when they had to complete
Yep.
certain phases.
You have a
of
date
their
certain to
work.
get your interrogatories,
Uh-huh.
date certain to take your depositions,
Yeah.
etc. And that really helped to move it along.
It sounds like the right way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know in some jurisdictions, and maybe it used to be here, but in some jurisdictions, the cases were being heard at the lawyer's convenience, where the lawyer would file a ready slip or.
Well, then,
something.
in effect, that's what was happening here, too.
Uh-huh. Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
lawyer one would pick up the phone and call his opponent and say, "Are you ready to ask for a trial listing?" "No, I don't know. I got 2 other cases on. Let's let it go till next month." You know,
Yeah, right.
okay.
Okay.
A mutual aid society.
Yeah, apparently. Now, you had that major stint as the administrative judge of the trial division. I know that's a heavy job. There's an awful lot to get done in that position. And then, following that, you were elected by your peers as president judge.
Yes.
In this very chambers that we're sitting in.
Yes. I followed President Judge Ed Blake,
Right. Okay.
who in his last year and a half, was not a very well person physically.
Yeah, I hardly saw him.
Yeah, and I inherited a whole pile of work that had to be gone through, only because he was not strong enough to get through it.
Okay. All right. It seems as though he was well liked by his.
Oh yeah, he was
colleagues,
definitely.
so,
He's a nice person,
Yeah.
but his illness just disabled him.
Well, sure, it's a tough job to do, even if you are well.
Uh-huh.
And at the same time, or almost the same time, you were appointed as chair of the Administrative
Governing board, right?
Now, the Administrative Governing Board is, in effect, the group of judges who actually decide what goes on in this court.
Well,
Is that right?
It's composed of the president judges of common pleas, municipal court, and traffic court,
Right.
and the administrative judges of those 3 courts,
Okay.
sitting with the court administrator and me on top of the pile as the president judge.
Yeah.
And we decided what,
Yeah.
things that had to be done.
What was going to happen.
Yeah.
And the Supreme Court instilled all that trust in you.
They were very good with me.
Yeah.
They helped a great deal.
Yeah. Is there anything, a case or any event, a legal event that may have happened during your, I know it's a long career and there are probably several things that may have happened to you.
There were a lot of them, but one of the The most ugly task
Mm-hmm.
that I had to face as a president judge was the removal or decertification of certain judges who were seniors.
Oh.
They were ill, not responsive, falling
Oh.
asleep on the bench,
Oh.
openly arguing and fighting with counsel,
Mm-hmm.
being disrespectful to their superiors. I'm not going to take this case. I don't want to take that kind of case.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I had to give them the heave-ho.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know that you were, because I worked with you, you were someone who definitely demanded what you needed and expected to get it back.
Right. I
Yeah.
mean, they were elected to that job. Do it.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Do you think the practice of law changed a lot from when you began?
A great deal. A
Yeah.
great deal, Lynn.
Yeah.
First of all, the practice of law today has been terribly cheapened by television spot ads.
Oh.
You know, come see me. I'm the greatest lawyer in the world.
Right. Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
I recovered millions of dollars. Well, show me a list of the cases and the amounts. Don't throw a number at me, millions of dollars. That has cheapened the whole process.
Okay.
A lot of lawyers today will never, ever refuse a case, no matter how weak
Okay.
the case is.
And that's the responsibility of a lawyer. To make
Yeah,
that-
say, I'm sorry, I can't do anything with your case. You know.
Sure.
But very few of them turn away a case, no matter, they all feel that they can shake a settlement out of something, somewhere.
Okay. And a fee.
Yeah,
All right.
that's the way it's changed.
Okay. And how about the courtroom? Have things changed in the courtroom too, or?
I think so. I think so. I think that at least my last observations
Mm-hmm.
was that the judges had stiffened up a little bit
Oh.
and were running the courtroom instead of letting the lawyers
Okay.
run the courtroom.
All right.
So yeah, I think things have improved.
And that's a good. Good. It's an improvement. You
Yes.
consider that to be. Sure.
Yeah, don't misinterpret my statement as
Okay.
being that I want a judge to become a dictator in a courtroom.
Right.
No,
Okay.
I don't want that. But I want the judge to take control of the proceeding
Mm-hmm.
and not let the lawyers run all over the place.
Right. Right.
So I do see a tightening.
Okay. And that would also fall in line with your day forward and the former day backward.
Yeah, because we exercise supervision over the judges that we appointed to be team leaders.
Yes.
And that kind of oozed down into the rank and file.
All right. And as a result, cases got disposed.
Oh yeah, we were in, as big cities were concerned, the ABA Journal had written us up as probably the most expeditious big city court in the United States. Now I don't know, that was several years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know how they view us now.
I know that the National Center for State Courts had similar
Uh-huh.
statements in their report.
Right.
The best-run civil court in the United States. Well, I have to say congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Right.
Oh, I did get a reward for it.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court, when I was about to retire,
Yeah.
said, no, we're going to appoint you as supervising judge of the statewide investigating grand jury.
Oh,
So I had to go to
that's a
Harrisburg
reward.
for a whole year.
Oh,
Back and forth, I was commuting.
right, right.
And the grand jury was investigating a whole lot of things like toxic dumps,
Oh,
people that were falsifying records,
Hmm.
people who are paying public servants to do
uh-huh.
what they were supposed to do for free.
Pay to play.
And we did cover the waterfront in that.
Okay.
There were a number of indictments came out of that.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on your work there. And how about since then? Has anything else happened?
Now I'm retired.
Because
Playing with my grandchildren.
I don't have the grandchildren part, but I'm retired. So it's, I consider you a brother, as I always have, respectfully. Well, thanks very much for coming down today, Judge. Is there anything else you wanted to add to the?
Not really. I
Yeah.
think I've given a little bit of a flavor of the way it was.
Yeah, you have.
And I, I hope that the Supreme Court will continue to help the First Judicial District
Okay.
and not to hinder it.
Uh-huh.
Other than that, things seem to be going okay.
Very well. Thanks a lot, Judge BONAVITACOLA,
Len, thanks for having me.
former President Judge, Administrative Judge in the First Judicial District.